Hello and welcome to the podcast. I'm your host Donna. Join me as we deep dive into real and raw conversations about love, life, money and business. Hey you guys, welcome to the Amplify Her podcast. My name is Donna and today we are going to be talking about showing up in business whilst being in personal crisis. Now, I wish I could say that life stops when you have a business and it all goes swimmingly, but it bloody well doesn't. If I have learned anything, it is that the only thing that we can really be certain of in life is that life is going to be uncertain, and it really, things will pop up when you decide to start a business or when you have a business. The reason why I'm sharing this with you guys is that people don't usually share things until after it happens, and I typically don't either because I like to share the learnings in something, but I also kind of feel like at the moment it's probably a really, really important message to share this whilst I'm in it, because I want you guys to know that you're not alone. And that this is such a normal thing, that things are going to pop up in your life whilst you're trying to run a business or start a business, and there's going to be so much of you that wants to just go, you know what, stuff it, I'm not doing this anymore, it feels too hard, I don't want to, I just want to hide under the Duna covers and just stay there, which is, so much of what I've been feeling recently, right? So this year has been tough, like the toughest I've had in a while, right? Don't know where I'm living at the moment. We're currently in New Zealand, but our home arrangements are kind of up in the air with COVID because we were traveling. We had to cancel our wedding, and on top of that, I've been dealing with a family member who it looks like they might have some mental health issues, and that's been really tough. How do you say that to somebody? Hey, I think you've got some mental health issues. Your behavior is quite erratic. It's not normal. And that's been really, really tough, like probably the hardest part of all of this, to be honest with you, especially in a time of my life where I am looking to get married and all of that sort of thing. So, that's really tough. And then on top of that, like running a business, being the beacon of certainty for others. I'm a coach, so I help women to build their businesses online, and I help them to let go of that good girl persona that they've been carrying so that they can have that successful business. And in a time like COVID, of course, like all of the questions come up of like, can I do this? Is my business going to tank because of COVID? What's happening in the economy? All of that sort of stuff. So I've had to be the beacon of certainty for others in a moment where I've been facing a lot of personal crisis myself. And I know that I'm not alone. I know the temptation is to do nothing, but the reality of it is that you just can't. Like having a business is literally like when you make the choice to have kids, you make the choice to be on 24/7. Having a business is like that. You make the choice to be on all the time, pretty much. And I think this is where beginners get stuck in business, because they perceive that when this thing clears up, then I'll go and start the business. Except then something else happens. So, then it keeps on getting prolonged. And I think the thing is to recognize is that things are always going to happen, and it kind of has to be this thing is happening and business is happening too, right? Doesn't mean that it's not tough. Yeah, and I think like over the last couple of months especially, some of the things that have really helped me and that I've really had to kind of lean into is, first of all, relying on my support network has been one of the biggest things. So relying on my partner, relying on friends, and just being open about what's been happening for me. Showing up. But showing up sometimes means the bare minimum. Yeah, so for me, the last couple of months, because things have been so incredibly tough, one of the things that I've had to be aware of is that, yes, I do still have to show up, but I don't have to show up in the same way that I usually would. I'd usually be everywhere on social media. Instead, I've been showing up, but not every single place, not every single day, multiple times a day like I usually would, because I haven't had the energy to do that. I haven't had the mind space to do that. I haven't had the ability to be who I needed to be in that moment. And the only energy focus that I really had to have was for me to be there for those people who are my clients already, and for me to be there for myself so that I can give more. Like those have been my two biggest focuses over the last couple of months. I think that's really important to recognize that you can do that without any judgment. Like one of the biggest things that, quite easily comes up is like, oh, but I'm just doing the bare minimum. Yeah, you are. So fucking what? Like you're going through something really big right now, and that's okay. You're still showing up. You're not doing anything. Like I'm still, last couple of months still doing podcasts, still posting, not as much as I usually would, but still posting on social media. I'm still 100% there for my clients. Like they've said to me that they wouldn't have even known that anything was going on. It doesn't mean that you don't show up. It just means that you show up with the knowing that you don't have to be as fully present as what you might usually be. The third thing that has been really good is relying on systems. So if you recognize that crisis is going to happen at some point in time, if it hasn't already, or if you're currently going through it, having systems in your business will really, really help you to work through all of that. Compartmentalizing things is another thing that's helped immensely. So shifting my focus. So sometimes working has actually been a really good thing, because it's meant that I've shifted the focus off of myself. And when it hasn't been on myself, it's actually given me some time to breathe and, think about something else other than what's been happening. Yes, so sometimes it's not necessarily a bad thing. And the last thing is permission. Permission that you are a business owner, but first and foremost, you're a bloody human being. So have some compassion for yourself. Have some compassion to the fact that you are going through something and you're trying to run a business. And that's really tough. I think that those are probably, the biggest things that I've had to really, really show for myself over the last couple of months without any judgment about it. Now, the thing is like, if you don't do this, what can tend to happen is you end up getting into a space where either, and this is the two kind of roads that I've seen it go down, with other people in the past, is either you go into a space where you suppress it, so you go fully into work mode and you put it all aside, but it still bubbles up onto the surface, or you fully give into it and, nothing ever gets done and your business goes down the gurgle as a result. And neither of them are functional ways of doing it. So there has to be a happy medium. And that happy medium is recognizing that thing is there, appreciating that thing is there, appreciating your energy is not going to be the same as what it would be if you didn't have this thing going on, and still showing up and doing your bare minimum whilst that thing is happening. So guys, I trust that has been helpful. If you have enjoyed this episode, please share, like, comment, ask me any questions that you have. And if you'd like to get to know me and my community more, please feel free to join the Facebook group Amplify Her. I'd love to meet you. All right, until next time, I will see you then. Bye for now.